So, guys, I was on K last night, or the night before. How would a modern army deal with the vampire menace? And I said to Megan, oh, this looks like a great thread, why don't we not do this? And she turned around to me and says, no, that's K. Oh, actually, no, I can't swear. She said, no, that's K. I'm not doing it. Go ask Garbo. I was like, all right, okay, I'll go ask Garbo. And Garbo said,
that's K cringe. Go ask the redneck.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if are we going to be doing this as a thread? Are we going to go down the thread? Or are we just going to spit out ideas? And I'm kind of feeling like just spitting out ideas, because I've got a few ideas. Garbo, you've already got way better ideas, so we'll just go for it?
Well, my first question is that what kind of vampire? Is this like a Twilight vampire or like a Blade vampire? You know, like what kind of vampire are we dealing with here is the first question, because all these vampires have their own special OC donut steel lore behind them.
I'm gonna go with the most traditional one, the one that most people know. I'm just gonna go Dracula. How does that sound?
Dracula?
Yeah, we'll go with him. Would he be a good one to start with, or like
I think so. Yeah. Well, a good baseline, you know.
Yeah, well, like everyone knows Dracula. You can't really mess him up too badly, can you? I mean, you can, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway. So, what's the biggest problem? Can Dracula have thralls? He does have thralls. He's got mind control.
Yeah, so I believe most Draculian vampires are able to take thralls by looking at them, have them stare into their eyes. And, I mean, you're going to be locked into an operation scenario where you cannot operate during daylight unless you go out trying to find the damn things. And as a human race, you're at a disadvantage of you're going to need NVGs no matter where you go, and these little hide in the darkness and in the sewers and just like really unpleasant places that you don't want to go in the first place.
Yeah, it would maybe make you think of some hills and mountains in a weird out there country that, well, how do I even say it? I don't know. That's a problem with YouTube. Like, you can't even say. I'm talking about Afghanistan, okay, guys? That's what I'm talking about.
Trash Canistan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, first of all, like, super tanned hot vampires is an issue in the first place. I mean, you have Marines and soldiers like, we're gonna go try and hunt down this vampire. Cool. And you find like a sun-kissed Dommy vampire mom, and you're like, yes, me thrall now.
I mean, yeah, that's so. What would you say? Would you say like vampire? I think the biggest problem with them would be intelligence. I would argue the biggest problem is actually, first of all, it's pinning them down is going to be the major issue, and then also subversion would be the second biggest problem, like misinformation. I would say, like, is there a better fantasy race for infiltration than a vampire?
Not besides changelings, not really. I mean, it depends on also the age of the vampire. If you got like an old vampire, we're just dude, because they're gonna have like connections and private military probably.
Yeah, so like
gold out the ass.
I'm probably gonna get in a lot of bother with this, but kind of like Henry Kissinger. Could we maybe something like him?
I mean, I don't know. It's just because if it was like a bugbear or orcs, it's all very simple. It's all very easy to do. When it comes to when it comes to just vampires, you're dealing with something that's insanely intelligent, and it knows that like say for instance we ever dealing with a vampire who knows how people act in the modern age. All they gotta do is be like, somewhat trolly with what they are. People are gonna come towards them for miles and try and interact with them. Like the joke about like the tan Afghani vampire Dami Mommy. Like, if you got a battalion of U.S. soldiers, you're like,
Yeah.
They've been out in the desert for four months trying to hunt her down. They find her like, that like the Sully meme. That.
Think so.
Like, okay, cool, now kill her. But what if?
Yeah.
It's going to be that guy going, what if we didn't kill her?
I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here.
There's also the issue of just how, like, thematically speaking, how charismatic they are as well. I mean, most vampires, and no matter what setting they are going to be highly charismatic, suave motherfuckers. So it literally come down to where you couldn't use proper army. You have to use, like, either spec ops or, like, boogaloo boys who who are like highly zealous to the mission or plan. Because if you try and use like regular soldiers or Marines, they're not like, you know what? They're going to be more easily influenced by the vampire than say
devoted to the mission. Would that be?
Yeah,
definitely. Definitely devoted to the mission. I think when it really comes to it with vampires, the problem is, as I say, so are we going to be dealing with, let's say there's like a clan. Let's say there's no more than 10 though, like serious vampires. Would that be?
Like more than one vampire?
Yeah, let's go with 10, and they've got like all their thralls and whatever, and of course they can get more thralls as much as they want. There's no cap on that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So there's
no pop cap.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, exactly. They've got unlimited respawns within reason. So where are we going to go with this? What I'm thinking, I think they're always going to be that one step ahead of you, no matter what. I don't think a modern army is the best way to deal with vampires. I feel like they're too heavy. Okay, you've got a lot of support, and it would be great to doom strike at vampire. That would be just amazing. But it's pinning them down. You know what I mean? And I feel like a modern army's too chunky or clunky to be able to handle that.
Well, yeah, because you're trying to use a 40-pound sledgehammer to hit a nail. You're going to need a more, like I said, like a zealot group or a special mission operative boogaloo, whatever else. You're going to need like a very small. At the same time, you can't have it be too small, because say you have, God forbid, more than one vampire, they're going to tear you apart. I mean, it's one of those things where everyone's like, ooh woo vampires, but in terms of lore-wise, vampires are a substantial threat, even more so than werewolves or other clan type.
The werewolf stands are going to come after you, Garb. I'm sorry,
I know. They're going to pull out their fursuit hats like, what the fuck you say about werewolves?
Yeah.
But no, but in terms of fantasy creatures that clan themselves, vampires are, in terms of just standard fantasy lore, novel lore, yada yada, are by far the most threatening because of what they can wield. Like if you say we go further and say LOL necromantic vampires who can raise the dead and shit, then it gets even more menacing, because basically you're having fodder on fodder fights. And unfortunately, with a vampire, you need to cut the head off the snake, because in most vampire lore, if you kill the spreader, the rest die.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's really how it should work. That's one of the ways they went with it in stories and novels.
Well,
but mostly it's you have to cut the head off the snake regardless, because say there are like hundreds of thousands of thralls, so if you just snap the one vampire out, it's going to release them. In that regard, like the biggest threat to a vampire would be like a highly trained night vision and thermal equipped sniper team, because most vampires can regenerate wounds, but it's really hard to regenerate brain matter when it gets specked at the back of your head.
I don't know.
So I guess what I want to ask you is could a vampire come back after being fucking punched in the front, get a fucking 7.62 NATO round or 6.5 Creedmoor round through the eyes, and say the round hits them, whack, center mass dead in the T, throws out brain matter out the back of their skull. Can a vampire recover from such a wound?
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm going to say with enough time, I'm going to go for the only thing that kills them is a stake through the heart, or maybe, the only other thing that would really weaken them is, holy water and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, see, let's say with holy water, what if the vampire's not, what if it's, God forbid, a Moorish vampire, where, they holy water, I don't give is it specifically vampires or only ex-Christian vampires?
I suppose that's a tough one to say. Well, actually, I don't know. That's a good question, actually. It's a good question. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. How would you attack that issue? But I want to look at a plan of attack from the army's point of view. How are we going to go about dealing with a vampire? And I think the best way to deal with a vampire is the same way you would deal with any form of guerrilla operatives. And what I would aim for is to... Who was it? I think it was Mao that said this, and he said to deal with gorillas. Gorillas are like the fish in a pond, and the civilians are like the water. All you gotta do is drain the water, and you'll get the gorillas. And I suppose it's the same thing goes for the vampires, but I suppose the vampires at this stage, if they've got this going on, I would argue they probably have a lot more resources, and they've probably got blood farms and all that type of stuff up and running already. So what I would do is I would use the army to go in and line up the populations, and definitely not have concentration camps. We'll use a nicer name for them, but they're going to be concentration camps, but all
recreational facilities.
Yeah, recreational facilities, and they're going to have swimming pools, all right? And look, you guys are going to love it. It's going to be great. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to line up the whole population. Now, that's what the bulk of the army is going to be used for. And I'm just going to starve them out as long as we can. And, like, you know, of course, they're going to try some things. And essentially, laying siege to them. And making them desperate until they show themselves.
Yeah, I guess in a way you could lay siege to their food supply, but at the same time, what's going to stop a vampire from going out and simply, you know, doing their Betty Hood rat shit and going out and grabbing food from something? It's really hard to pin down a vampire. I mean, in terms of like, vampires are as wily as werewolves, where if they get low enough on just patience and food, they'll just go feral and start ripping shit apart. But it's the same way, like, we're dealing with it in a modern age. If you find a vampire in, like, its fucking manor home, where the fuck things are going to live, they're, like, make mansions, you could just do pure saturation fire and hope you just delete that bitch with the fucking 155
All
round.
right, how well do you think a flare gun would do up against a vampire?
Like a fucking flare gun?
Yeah. Do you think that would that have any effect? Do you think that would be better?
Probably piss them off.
Yeah, would it be better than other? Like, first of all, like, you know, let's be serious. We're gonna have to work out new weapons for these vampires. Which I'm gonna go for. Do you ever play Hellraiser at all? Or what was it called? Hellraiser? There was this old video game. It was for the PC. And I had like a steak gun in it and would like strap people to walls. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was actually the physics was really cool. So it was definitely worth checking out. I'm probably forgetting. I'll flash it up on screen so I will for you guys. But let's say we've got a steak gun. Can we make a steak gun? I'm pretty sure they can make one of them, you know, or maybe
at the same time, like, and just in my fucking, you know, caveman brain, why is a wooden stick more effective than a fucking like a fucking 50 cal round? I mean, why is a wooden stake? That's one of the things I always kind of like raised eyebrow with like accepted vampire lore. Why the hell is a wooden stake deemed? Yes, this will do. If you what would a stake what would a stick through the heart not kill in the first place? Like, yeah, it's going to kill it. It would kill anything.
Well,
stick through the fucking heart.
I think it was more for the security of people that really believed in vampires. Like, you know, for instance, if someone did die, they believed that people would be like vampires would come and raise them from the dead. So therefore, like during the funeral process, or like, you know, the undertaker or whatever would actually put a stake through the heart, just so they couldn't be risen up and become undead.
See, me just activating like my Coomer brain. Like, what if all the vampires are cute? How do you then convince your soldiers and everything else to go out and try to kill? Because say like they're super adorable and hot and shit, but they're doing these horrible fucking things. How do you convince your soldiers or like your government or your people to go out and try and get rid of them?
Dehumanize them, keep them as far away from it as humanly possible. A lot of propaganda, as much propaganda as you possibly can. And of course, very, very few of your soldiers will ever make contact with these vampires anyway, and they've been so, like, you know, indoctrinated at this point, I don't think that would matter too much. What do you think? Or is that too close to reality?
Well, I'm also wondering, like, what would cause the modern age to hate vampires so much?
That was something to do with
drinking
the blood of children. That's probably going to get the video taken down. But, like, you know, something to do with banks. Something to do with like an island in the Caribbean, and it was free women. You guys know who I'm on about.
They kept infecting bats with like illnesses. It was awful. They need to be stopped.
Yeah, or you can actually maybe they were doing some stuff in a laboratory in China that may have got out of hand. Yeah, you know, maybe
damn vampires.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do you like models in your tabletop role-playing games? 'Cause we do too. Do you like having big bitty waifus on your table? 'Cause we do too. We got human biddies, we got lizard biddies, we got orc biddies, oni biddies, cat bussies. We've got everything you want at neckbeardia.co.uk.
Check the links down below, it helps us out a lot.
Sorry for interrupting the video, let's get on with the story. Every week we're going to be doing a giveaway of the new pinup model of the month, or if models isn't your thing, all of our homebrew content. If you want to be in with a chance to win the giveaway, all you need to do is subscribe. That's it. Hit the subscribe button. That's it.
Do it now.
But last week's winner was this guy. Well done! Yay! Round of applause. Everybody stands up and claps. But enough of that. Let's get back to the video.
Well, well, what are vampires? So vampires in folklore are boogeymen of sorts anyway. And what are they used for? They're used to, they seem as witches, really. They're used to pass off the ills of the day and, we're going to blame it on that. That's what's causing our problems. It's the vampires. You know what I mean? And is that really too different from what we do today? I would argue a lot of modern day politics, I think it's mostly divide and conquer tactics that are at use, mostly what I see.
As I'm reading through this thread, one guy says, "How would a modern army deal with a vampire menace? Marry them."
Yeah, that's probably the most likely solution. Let's be serious. Make love, not war, and all that jazz.
But it's one of those things where, in terms of actually going into nitty gritty and hey, this vampire is here. There's nothing stopping a modern army from just doing complete area saturation artillery fire, just deleting that area off the face of off the face of the earth, the planet, the plane of existence.
But the thing is, vampires are that sneaky. They would already know that was going to be happening, and they'd be 5 steps ahead of you before that even came about.
If a vampire's been alive for a couple hundred years, they would already have a few thralls in the military complex, just so they can look out for that kind of shit.
Yeah,
they are a very wily quarry to chase after.
I would say, it's definitely hyper paranoid. They give me stuff. I would imagine if a vampire was real, they would remind me very much of someone like Stalin, someone who is hyper paranoid of everyone around them, and the people that they fear the most is probably other vampires, not actually anyone.
That's one of the things that most folks address was the extreme paranoia of eternal life, where after about 100 years, you're going to get a bit weird. I would think.
Yeah, you're definitely going to go.
That vampire in Germany's out to get me. Mm.
Yeah, my cousin, he's up to no good again. Up to no good. But where will we take this? So how would an army? Let's. I don't think a vampire. Well, a vampire could win. The only way it could win would be enthralling the right people at the top, and then of course over the course of 20, 30 years, go into what was that guy? The KGB guy, and he was demoralization.
Yeah.
All that. That's what I think. That's how I think vampires would win.
The problem is there's so many fucking vampires you can choose from, and all the vampires have their own special layers of power. Say you go U.S. Army versus Twilight Vampire, he's not gonna fucking make it.
Yeah, he doesn't have a chance.
Gone.
Not even close.
But say you have a vampire from Blade, it's gonna be fucking tough in the first place. And say you have
depends on
the
what
super
level.
the super uber OP vampires, you can phase through time and space, and nothing personnel kid backstab your fucking soldiers. Oh god. So it's a very hard question to answer, because it's okay, which vampire?
Yeah,
because fantasy is insinuated with fucking vampires, and all of them are either LOL, weak as shit, or what the fuck is this, is overpowered, So
yeah.
Before we can answer that question, we would to designate what kind of vampire we're talking about. Because even a Bram Stoker vampire, no, he's fucked, bro.
I don't know. I think master manipulation is key to all this, and I think Bram Stoker's Dracula is definitely one of the masters of deception. I think
that's great until we go, okay, drones. I gonna you try and work your way into the military industrial complex and try and get into the head of the fucking drone operator who's LOL RPG lol fucking fast dogs your fucking count to death. It's I don't know, because it's not an easy question to answer.
I don't know. I'm thinking honestly, they're too. I think vampires are just too smart for their own good. They just are. They're just too smart, and I think they're always going to be that one step ahead of you at any situation. The only downside I think there is to a vampire is their own arrogance. I think their own arrogance is the only way that they would or could be defeated within reason. I don't think they're ever going to let themselves be put into a situation where they are going to be surrounded and outnumbered. You know what I mean? Even the idea of I think they're just going to be able to outmaneuver you at every step, every turn.
It's one of those things where I can visualize is a vampire like, no, don't kill me. On the U.S. Army sites, another fucking vampire with like fucking foundation on, like, yeah, kill that fucker, you know? What would stop a vampire from going, yes, we should definitely kill, looks at prom, vampire AB12, and like, you're vampire AB11. Like, yeah, let's go get that fucker, fuck it.
I don't know, maybe, I think it's because I watched Platoon the other night, you know, and I watched Platoon, it was the first time I've watched Platoon in about 5 years or so, and I think it's one of those ones where I think, like, you know, how difficult big Western armies have up against, even when it comes to, like, well, they are organised, but they are, you know what I mean, they're just not on the same level, but I don't know, I just find it's so, they're too big, and they're hard to pinpoint such small play, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So what I'm really trying to say is, can we make George Bush Van Helsing? Please. I don't know. I think George Bush is you know what I love about George Bush is, whenever I was younger, he was treated as if like he was the Antichrist, but then whenever Trump came around, there was all these like posts about, oh my god, he's actually really not that bad. Look, he paints pictures now. He's not actually half as bad as what you guys made him out to be. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just consider him a bit of a meme at this point.
You know what? You can have George W. Bush as Van Helsing if I can have fucking Sarasu or like Saris so Saris Victoria in the setting. That'd be great.
All right, okay, we can do that. We can work with that. All right, and again, just like in the setting, like, you know, so Van Bush shows up and he just goes ahead and he just bombards all of where we call this. What we call the fantasy country? We'll call it
Munich.
No. That'll get us in the bother. We'll call it
Dresden.
Transylstan. There we go. Perfect.
Transylstania.
Yeah, Transylstania, right? So Van Bush shows up and he starts carpet bombing with stakes. He's firebombing, all that type of stuff. He shows up on an aircraft character. We get the whole mission accomplished, thumbs up meme, and it's all great until we realize, oh no, it's even worse than we thought. It turns out the vampires are actually in the government. Oh god, what will we ever do? And
they're actually in the government. No.
Yeah, and that's season 1 of my vampire hunting show anime. You guys will enjoy it. Trust me, it's going to be really cool.
Vampire hunter anime.
Yeah, trust me, it's going to be really
Brought
cool.
to you by Neckbeardia. We hate anime.
Yeah, we hate anime, but we're going to make you an anime. But no, I think that works. Do you want to? What would you spin on it? We'll try and wrap up here. We're already 25 minutes in, and you have any thoughts, any opinions? What do you think? I think the vampires are going to win. You think the army are going to win?
Well, being a published writer, I always do that shit. It's so funny to me. But if I were to write something like this, I think the vampires would already be winning at the start of the gate, and it would take one or two very specific people who they hate vampires so fucking much that they'd be able to kind of like withstand the mental bombardment of all the psyop propaganda the vampires are going to be putting out, right? Because the vampires are going to be trying to make you like, no, bro, I'm the good guy. I can cure cancer. Watch. And you're like, I don't know. I fucking hate. Like, there's going to be a catalyst that makes these particular individuals hate vampires so fucking much. And then they'd be the way that it'd be either a huge macro scale or very small micro scale. Macro scale, the vampires are doing some hooky bullshit and like, we hate that. Just pure saturation bombardment of an area, and they go, cool, we did it. The vampire's not dead because they knew it was coming, and the whole thing just goes on for the next 2,000 years. Or it's so micro scale that maybe 4 or 5 specific individuals are so spotted by vampires because they wouldn't marry them or whatever. They're out to just remove vampires on a micro scale, whether they're doing infiltration, and then probably beheading them, if anything. Probably like finding some way to like pin them down where they can't move, behead them, remove their heart, yada yada yada. Because in my headcanon, vampires do have a lot of regeneration, and they could, in my headcanon, they could technically live through a headshot. There's just be a lot of memory loss. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I like the idea they turn into goo and they like reform over the course of like a week or two. You know what I mean?
Like a fucking Slimer.
Yeah, I like to imagine, like, you know, if you just put them in a jar, they will reform. Just give them enough time, you know? know. But
I have no idea, because it's just if we knew what kind of vampire would be easier to say. But there are so many fucking vampires, man.
I know. I don't think we definitely don't have the scope for this video to actually go through each and every different type of vampire and why they would win and why they wouldn't.
I guess down in the comments below, list your vampires and probably spend a minute per vampire discussing it. But I mean, there are so many fucking vampires. And first of all, fuck Twilight vampires. They're stupid and dumb, and I don't like them.
Yeah, well, no one appreciates Twilight vampires. Let's be serious. You know what I mean?
I am sparkly. Fuck you.
I've yet to meet one person in my life that says, "Oh, Twilight actually wasn't that bad." Maybe that tells you what age group we're in, though, doesn't it? You know, that's kind of an old meme at this point, Twilight and all that jazz. You know, but
dead meme, dead book, dead series.
Yeah, it is. Thank God it is. Anyway, that can only be a good thing. So, what my argument is, I think we'll wrap up here. I'm definitely gonna go with. I think the vampires are just gonna win. I think vampires are too cruel, too calculated, and also even if we had someone that was competent, how many other people around them are also competent enough? Because let's be serious, if a vampire, like we all know, there's certain people in the world that would be like, do you want to drink the blood of X people and you will gain immortality? How many people would be tempted by that offer? I'm going to say quite a few.
It'd be a literal pandemic, I would say, like a pandemic of vampires.
Of course.
Because you get all these desperate people who are like, yeah, I'll fucking suck down blood, just need to live forever, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then you have like the thing where, okay, now it would be from a vampire monster versus humanity to a vampire race versus, it'd be a literal it'd be a literal race war between humans and vampires.
Yeah.
Dude. Like that one movie where they're hunting down humans and like they're almost extinct or whatever.
Yeah, I think the only if we're gonna make it really wacky, I think one of the few things that I think would work well against vampires, why it would actually make vampires lose, zombies. And I'm not even taking the piss here. Like, think about it. You're killing their food source. You're killing their servants. You know, it's I think that's not a bad way of handling it. So it's
I guess to make zombies, you would need like a human to figure out necromancy. That'd be actually a pretty good book series, actually. Or a pretty good show.
So what I'm going for is okay, say we've got a lab problem. I'm gonna release snakes into the wild, and then we're gonna create another big huge problem. You know, where did they do that? Was that India where they had like a lab problem?
All right, we killed the vampires. That we have 6 million zombies.
So that's my only solution. I want to hear what you guys think. I know we didn't really go into the thread, but it was kind of more just the idea. Think of this more as like the podcast, right? We did do something like this before.
Okay, look. The thread literally says LOL vampire waifus, mating press, breedable. It's literally all the fucking thread.
Yeah, look, you guys know what case, like, for God's sake, like, you know, let's try and not get ourselves anything here. But there was one video where we did, it was Dragon versus, it was quite funny, it was a Marine. I kept calling him an army man in the video.
Army man.
Yeah, well, like, they're all army men to me, like, you know, but you should have heard the rain. It's like, I really don't get the whole thing, like, you know, with Americans wanking off Marines all the time. I really just don't get it. Like, you know, what's the big difference between your army and Marines? You know, I don't get why they've got a little cult status almost among Americans. You know, is it that much better?
Don't even ask me, bro.
Yeah, you're probably just gonna get
fucking ask me.
You're probably gonna get into more bother. Anyway, look, if you guys like,
1 hour later,
yeah, if you guys like, we got tons and tons of vampires up for sale on the website. Lots of lovely models, and who doesn't want a lovely vampire waifu? Let's be serious. Let's just check it out. It's the last day of the sale anyway. By the time you're watching this, the sale's probably already finished because it's the end of May.
Because half of you.
Well, look, you had a week and a half, for God's sake, to get 30% off. It's not my fault, okay? You know what I mean? I give you guys plenty of ample time, alright? So, don't shout at me. But anyway, look, we'll love yous and leave yous, and let us know why Garpu's long and stupid again, because that was really funny. Megan was loving them.
Garbro is super dumb, and I hate his face.
The only thing cringier is Garbu, or what were they calling you?
Garbo.
Garbo.
Call me Garbo, yeah.
Garbo, yeah. Oh, I thought it was funny as anything. But yeah, check out Garbro's channel. He does a lot of stuff. Like, he does lots of stuff, and he's got like 5 different channels.
Garbro's Field Desk is a new one because LOL YouTube.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Anyway, look, we'll see you guys later.
On your 6th channel, yeah. I bet you
Yeah, I know. Anyway, look, talk to you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And bump.